Hello, I hope to live the rest of my life happily and peacefully. My 17-year-old daughter doesn't need a father, but she does want a friend and wants to make her mom happy. Women have always had these kinds of expectations of them. Even though she and her daughter no longer need the father to live with them, they still need a man. The single mother wanted her daughter to have a friend who would marry her. Men who are in their second marriage often find it hard to get used to having grown-up children. Also, if a mother puts down a father, how can a child respect the man who marries her mother? How could any man respect such a child? The daughter will always choose a friend who is close to her age, no matter what. So why would she want a man much older than her? This ad also tells us that the man who would marry the mother was not important. Only the happiness of the women in the house was taken into account. Because of this, no man should want to marry her. Women today have a very strange expectation of the men they want to date. This is clear when we look at the profiles of some divorced and single women on matrimonial websites. If we look at what their partners wanted from them, we can figure out why they got divorced in the first place. Because of these rules, some of them never get married at all. Here's another 45-year-old divorcee who loves animals. I'm looking for a good guy who cares about his family and comes from a nuclear family or, even better, has his own place. Since I love animals a lot, I want my life partner to feel the same way. Only real profiles that have gone through the legal process and are interested in an early marriage should apply with recent photos and contact information. I appreciate you looking at my profile. She didn't want other in-laws to live with the man because she wanted him to be on his own. But how could she expect a family-oriented guy to live alone without his parents or other family members? How could someone who did that be called family-oriented? It's important to remember that she loves animals but not people, in-laws. A trait that was made up by feminists who, in order to make a different way of life, supported hatred for people's sexual orientation. How can these women be family-oriented if they want a nuclear family or a man who can set them up on their own? Or, what can these women do to protect their families? She had no reason to stay married. A gift from feminism. One thing that all women have in common is that they don't want to marry divorced or widowed men who have kids from a previous marriage, may not be staying with them. One 49-year-old woman who had never been married wanted this. My mother is 85 years old, and staying with her is my top priority. I'm very thin and don't look like much. I am very practical and take all of my responsibilities very seriously. I am also very shy and quiet, and I don't say much. I've never been in a relationship, so I'm not at all romantic. Looking for someone who can be my guardian, soulmate, a very caring, understanding, mature person who has seen all the ups and downs of life, and a person with a lot of patience. Please excuse the businessman, the divorcee, and the widower with children. Even though she knows her limits, she thought she could find a divorced or widowed man without children when she was 49 and her mother was her first priority and she needed to stay close to her. Just look at the expectations on the profiles of other single moms to see how they put down the men they might date. Women have a very self-centered way of thinking, mostly all women. They don't want to marry men who have kids from a previous marriage, but they expect men, even those who have never been married, to marry single mothers. Feminism is also bad because it leads to working women and women with high-paying jobs trying to date only men with higher incomes. Even though feminism talks about equality on paper, it has never been found that a feminist woman wants to marry a man who is unemployed or has less work. All matrimonial profiles only look for people with a lot of money. Take this 40-year-old woman who has never been married and who works and makes $15,000 salary. Her profile said that this is what her family thought she would do. A loving husband who will always be there for her in good times and bad. Well settled in his job and making a good salary that fits with her lifestyle. Since she is our only child, we hope that the boy will be like our son and that my daughter will be accepted as their daughter. Our family is a small group of 3 people. We get along well, and we all understand and care about each other. She wants to keep serving until her health won't let her. If a matching job is available, the person will try to move to a place where the employer company has an office. So, we can see that whether or not a husband cares about his wife depends on how much money he makes. Also, she moved because she was able to get a better job, which made her marriage less important for her career. So, on the one hand, she wanted someone who made a lot of money, and on the other, she didn't care much about getting married. So, the next question is why the man should marry her. How much money would the man get? Feminism made it important for everyone to have a job, but it also made it important for women to keep their jobs, while they continued to seek alimony. When these jobs became most important to women, they kept looking for men who made more money. Now, let's look at what a 41-year-old teacher's ex-husband expected from her. She had a son. He will be a good person and have strong ties to Indian culture. He will be loving, caring, and romantic, and he will have a good sense of what it means to be a person. I don't like people who are quick to judge other people. Instead, they should look at the facts and make decisions based on logic. I want him to love and accept my son completely. He should have a good attitude about life and want to be with someone who is easygoing and fun. When I hear a single mother say that she doesn't want her potential partner to judge her, it makes me think that she might have done something wrong in her last marriage, like having an illegitimate child, and is now trying to play the victim card by telling potential partners not to judge her for her past decisions. I told every man looking for a second soulmate that they shouldn't marry a single mother under any circumstances. This expectation that the man shouldn't judge her reminds me of what those women are usually like. This article won't be complete if I don't talk about this 36-year-old divorced woman whose profile picture showed her with too much makeup on. Her profile said, "We are looking for a Bengali or non-Bengali, Brahmin or Kayastha groom who has no problems, no demands, is classy, reliable, mature, honest, loyal, kind, educated, well-off, tall, fair, young-looking, and smart. We have to do kindly matching. Bald-headed grooms, grooms with unmarried sisters, grooms in live-in relationships, grooms with any kind of perverted mentality, and grooms who want a cook, maid, or ayah instead of a life partner, please leave. The husband shouldn't be envious of his wife's success, accomplishments, or freedom. Note, only contact with serious, real people." This profile makes it clear how feminism has changed the family. Just look at the long list of things they want from the person who might marry them. Also, they wouldn't marry into a family with a sister who wasn't married. Also, saying that someone is looking for a cook, maid, or ayah shows that the woman may not be willing to do any housework at all. In fact, her long list of things she wants from a partner is intimidating, and it shows that she doesn't want to be responsible for anything. Any such expectation would show that the family is biased against women and hard on them. This makes it clear why she got a divorce to begin with. If the first part of her profile says that feminism teaches women to be careless and overly demanding, the second part says that feminism also teaches women to hate men. In the next part of her profile, she wrote about what she wanted from her marriage: peace, understanding, mutual respect, and trust. It is not okay to be unfaithful. I need a friend-like guardian for my daughter, not a lord who is a manipulator and doesn't trust himself. She should be proud of her husband, not ashamed of what he does. The man she wants to marry should be male enough to have a child. God forbid, if not, must be forward-thinking enough to get medical care on time instead of pointing fingers and playing the blame game. Because only earthworms can have babies on their own, not a woman. The man who wants to get married must marry the woman, not how much money she could make. Her partner can't be involved with any kind of bad people. The way these expectations were described, such as partner should be man enough, must marry the woman, not her money-earning potential, or should be man enough to have children, shows how family members feel about men and how much power women have over them. Also, it shows that the woman may have trouble getting pregnant and is arrogant enough to say that she doesn't so her partner won't ask questions. Clearly, these are not the bold expectations of an independent woman. Instead, they sound like the arrogant expectations of a self-centered brood. Feminism made women selfish. Feminism has made women very self-centered and selfish, if it has done anything to them at all. Feminism has made them rude and cocky in the name of success and moving forward. This is why the number of never-married women in India has grown in all age groups in the last 2 years, details in another article. Some divorced and widowed women will never find their soulmate. The question is, if feminism really can bring social and mental well-being, as its basic principles say, why are these women still looking for soulmates at the age of 40 or more? Feminism clearly couldn't give these strong women the peace and security they needed, which is why they still want a man in their lives even though they hate men so much. Not only do feminist choices hurt women, but they also hurt men. There are still a lot of men who don't have kids who marry single moms. But men who were married before and had children don't get married again, even if their cases are over and the child doesn't live with them. Feminism has probably made these men live lives they didn't want. Again, the promises that feminists make about gender justice don't seem to work for men either. Gender justice can't be reached only through economic empowerment and without a sense of responsibility, that much is clear. When feminism broke up big families and made them into smaller ones, it also made it so that everyone had to work for big companies. So, care work will either be left out of the liberal economy or it will cost more. Women don't want to take care of their homes, and more of them think that their high-earning partners should do that work instead. With the possibility that children won't be taken care of, happy families seem like an impossible dream.